What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 17 value plays.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to give you my top value plays, which are mid-range salary players who I think got some pretty good upside this week.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, NFL Week 17, let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my value play for Week 17 at the quarterback position is Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks playing the Detroit Lions, who have the fourth worst defense overall and they're middle of the pack defending opposing quarterbacks. Russell Wilson has averaged 16.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 2.8 rush attempts per game. He's going to be about 4% owned, projected at 18.6 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 6,200 DraftKings salary and 1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 42.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Seahawks favored by 6.5. So you get a pretty good matchup here, and Russell Wilson has scored 17, 5, and 21 fantasy points in his last 3 games. He's got all of his pass catchers back. They're all healthy finally. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. So he's got all his weapons available. And he does have some big upside if he gets going. So I like Russell Wilson here versus the Detroit Lions. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. Now, I do think David Montgomery is a pretty good value play here for the Chicago Bears playing the New York Giants. He's 6,500 DraftKings salary and 700 more on FanDuel. He scored 24, 12, and 14 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 21, 18, and 10 rush attempts on top of 9, 6, and 7 pass targets. So he's getting a ton of volume. He's got a good matchup versus the Giants, who give up the 7th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So I do like David Montgomery as a value play here versus the Giants.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $100 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
But another value play on the slate is Ronald Jones from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the New York Jets, who have the worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Ronald Jones, he's scored 16 fantasy points last week off of 20 rush attempts and 3 pass targets. No Leonard Fournette, so he's going to get the bulk of the carries and the touches, and he's going to be about 10% owned, projected at 14 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 6,300 DraftKings salary and 700 more on FanDuel. Now, I like this pick because Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Tampa Bay Bucks favored by 13.5. So this should be a running game script. I expect Ronald Jones to get 20 plus touches in this game. Best possible running back matchup on the slate. So I like Ronald Jones here versus the New York Jets. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. So my value play at the wide receiver position is Michael Gallup from the Dallas Cowboys playing the Arizona Cardinals, who have a good defense overall, but they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Michael Gallup has averaged 10.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 7.3 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 5% owned, projected at 11.5 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 4,800 DraftKings salary, 1,000 more on FanDuel. And I like this pick because Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. 52 points scored in this game, with the Dallas Cowboys favored by 5.5. And Dak Prescott has been on fire the past couple of games, and he's got a good matchup here. Michael Gallup has a good wide receiver matchup. He scored 7, 6, and 11 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 5, 5, and 9 pass targets. So I like that he's under 5K on DraftKings. So I like Michael Gallup here versus the Arizona Cardinals.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. So I got 2 value plays for you here at the tight end position. My first value play, I'm just waiting for this guy to explode, and it could come this week. So I like Noah Fant from the Denver Broncos playing the LA Chargers, who have the 7th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Noah Fant has averaged 9.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.8 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 82% of the snaps. Now he's only going to be about 2% owned, projected at 8.7 fantasy points here in Week 17. Although I think he's going to score 10 plus fantasy points in this one. And he's only 4,400 DraftKings salary, 900 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Broncos trailing by 6.5. So great matchup here for Noah Fant, who scored 6, 11, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 4, 6, and 4 pass targets. So I like Noah Fant here versus the LA Chargers. Okay, another value play here at the tight end position, and this could go, you could go ahead and stack this guy with our value play at the quarterback position, Russell Wilson. I like Gerald Everett from the Seattle Seahawks playing the Detroit Lions, who have the 4th worst defense overall. They give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Gerald Everett has averaged 8.5 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.2 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 3% owned, projected at 8.8 fantasy points here in Week 17. He's 4,100 DraftKings salary, 1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 42.5 points scored in this game, with the Seahawks favored by 6.5. So great matchup here, and Gerald Everett has scored 17, 10, and 11 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 5, 4, and 2 pass targets. So I like Gerald Everett as a value play here versus the Detroit Lions. Now, one more value play actually at the tight end position. I think this guy's salary is just a little bit too low for the upside that he's got. So I like Dallas Goedert from the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Washington football team, who have the 2nd worst defense overall. They're middle of the pack defending opposing tight ends. Dallas Goedert has averaged 11.3 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.9 pass targets per game. He's going to be about 8% owned, projected at 12.1 fantasy points here in week 17. He's 5,100 DraftKings salary, 700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Eagles favored by 3.5. So Dallas Goedert scored 5, 24, and 32 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 4, 9, and 6 pass targets. So he's got monster upside. His salary's low. His projection is good. His matchup's pretty good. So I like Dallas Goedert here versus the Washington football team.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.